Kelly, a warm welcome to the Face Yoga Expert podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm really excited to have you here, and I've been delving into everything you do, which is so amazing and so aligned with so much of what I do as well. So, I'm really excited to chat about everything, particularly meditation, actually. And I'd love to start right at the beginning with the meditation because I know that actually it isn't something you've always done. You actually had to get to quite a difficult point in your life before meditation became an important part of your life.
That's correct. Yeah, I was turning 40. It was the year I was turning 40, and I had psoriatic arthritis, and it was really debilitating, and it was preventing me from being as active as I would have liked in my own life and with my kids who were 8 and 10 at the time, and also just making it really hard to juggle the demands of career and commercial real estate financing. And so I went away for my 40th birthday to a retreat and I took a mindfulness class. And the teacher told me that if you're wishing the past were any different or better than it was, you're living in the past. And if you're experiencing anxiety or worrying and catastrophizing all the worst case scenarios that the future could play out, that's actually in the future and you're not in the present moment. And I was like, oh no, because I'm all of those things most of the time. So it was a really big wake up call for me. Unfortunately, they had meditation classes at the place that I was. And so I was like, okay, I need to do this for the rest of the week. And I just had an amazing experience meditating and made a commitment to myself to continue when I got home for just 5 to 10 minutes every morning before my husband and kids got up. And within a couple weeks of being home, it just completely changed my life. It diminished, my pain started diminishing, and I started feeling so much more connected with myself and my loved ones. And yeah, just a lot more present and happy. So
I
it's
love
something that
that.
I've never gone back. It's a habit that I've been committed to ever since that day.
That's amazing. And now you teach it, of course, to other people.
I do. Yeah, I never would have thought that this would be the path. I actually, after a while of meditating on my own and just, bursting with curiosity about what the heck was making me feel so good, because for years I had gone to doctors and tried different medications, and it took me a long time to get my autoimmune disease diagnosed. And so I did a deep dive into the science and the spirituality and all of that. And I decided to open a meditation center in San Francisco. And that was a great experience. At the time, I still had no intention of teaching myself. I just wanted to make meditation more accessible to more people because it had been so amazing in my own life. And then throughout the course of having the studio, I ended up getting trained, going to a meditation teacher certification, and that led to breathwork certification, Reiki certification, and all that. I kind of fell in love with it. So it's been a great journey.
Yeah, such a great journey. And what does your daily practice look like personally when it comes to meditation now?
Well, I am just naturally an early riser, and I used to wake up and I think get filled with thoughts that I hadn't gotten enough sleep and, toss and turn for hours. But now I just use that as a beautiful opportunity to have some quiet time to myself. So usually before I even get out of bed, I try to turn my thoughts to gratitude and do some deep breathing and just kind of fully arrive in my body. And then I'll set an intention for the day and spend a couple minutes visualizing how I want to feel throughout the day and how I want to show up. And then I'll come downstairs and light my candle. And maybe I work a lot with aromatherapy or blessings herbs. And I have a daily devotional that right now I'm doing Marianne Williamson's A Course in Miracle, which is beautiful. And then I do about 15 or 20 minutes of meditation usually.
That's amazing. And what I love when I was reading through everything that you do was how you talked about how you do your meditation for your children. And I find that interesting as a fellow mum and myself, and actually working a lot with, professionally and also personally, knowing a lot of other mothers. Often the biggest reason why mothers don't do meditation, don't do breath work, don't do self care, don't do yoga is because they feel that they're putting their children first. But what I love about what you talk about is actually how you do it for your children. It makes you a better mother, it makes you a better person, and of course, an amazing role model as well. Maybe you could tell us a bit more about that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, it has made me such a better mom. I mean, of course, I look back and I wish I learned it even sooner, because I know that the ages 0 to 6 are so important in their brain development. And I wasn't as present at that time in their life. My kids are now, though, 15 and 17, and it's just been the biggest blessing to my family. I feel like, especially during COVID, I had all the tools and practices I needed to be a calm and steady presence for them. And science shows that kids actually regulate to our nervous system. So their prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed, and they learn how to control their emotions and their nervous system through our example. So
Wow.
when we can be calm and steady amidst the chaos of life, it's really regulating to them. It's just like, the metronomes when you're practicing piano that you had, and they'll start going in the same rhythm. Our kids are like that with us. And we're also like that with our pets. And, we're all energetically connected. So I do think that it's one of the greatest things a parent can do is establish these practices. And as a matter of fact, this weekend was Mother's Day, and it was so sweet. They made me brunch, and my husband had them do put-ups, and everyone would say a nice thing to me. And I was so surprised that my 15-year-old daughter said her put-up was that I don't get angry like the other moms, and I don't come untethered, and that she's starting to see that, and that's no offense to anyone, but I just felt I don't know, so good about that, because I feel like that really is what anchoring yourself right here, right now, and not coming untethered, and not, making a conscious decision to choose not to be bothered by the little things and to live in alignment with your values. And yeah, I'm just so thankful for that.
So thankful. That's just so beautiful. And that's the greatest thing that we can hear our children say, that well, anything that's a compliment to us from our children, we feel so deeply because, well, of course, we put our hearts and souls
Well,
into
I was like, we
parenting.
need to do this every night.
Exactly. Let's make this a nightly thing. Definitely. And if you were to sort of go back again and start meditation from the beginning again, would you sort of follow the same path, or would you do it differently? Would you maybe do longer? Would you do less? Would you do it sort of, would you teach it to your children whilst you did it? Because the reason I'm asking this is because I know there'll be a lot of people listening who do meditation, but I know that also there'll be people that have never done meditation and are looking to you from guidance for actually where do they start? So I'm intrigued to know that actually from you first.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. I would do it the same. For me, starting with a small commitment to 5 or 10 minutes each morning, and I'll never forget, probably about a month into it, I was driving my kids to school one day, and I don't know if someone cut me off and made me mad or something, but they said, "Mom, did you do your meditation today?"
They noticed
It was a
straight
noticeable
away.
difference. 5 minutes
Love
can make a
that.
noticeable difference. So I actually created a free offer on my website called the Meditation Kickstarter for that reason. Because when people start micro habits and are showing up consistently for themselves and noticing how spending just 1% of your day meditating for 5 to 10 minutes in the morning makes the other 99% of your waking hours that much better, then you're more likely to continue and commit to it. So I do always recommend starting with just a shorter period that you can commit to daily. Even if you miss it first thing in the morning, you can come back to it throughout your day. I do recommend doing it in the morning. Our brainwave state is a little deeper and we're just a little more receptive at that time. And also doing it in the morning, and especially with setting intentions, gives our subconscious mind direction for the day to, follow what lights us up and go in the direction that we intend with the things that we're creating in our life. So I think starting with 5 to 10 minutes is beautiful. I personally oftentimes am able to go into a lot of it deeper state, and if I have a little bit longer time. So oftentimes I enjoy having 15 or 20 minutes or even 30 minutes. But I think for starting out with just 5 to 10 minutes a day is a great way to start. And as far as meditating with children, I think it's great to include them if they're interested. Children are able to meditate about the same number of minutes as their age. So that's a great guideline. And of course, you can share the micro meditations I mentioned with your children. But the more important thing is for them to see your example doing it. So my kids have both gone through various phases where they're more or less interested in meditation. It's been really fun to share with my son, who's an athlete, some of the breathwork practices and visualization practices that are really interesting to him. And so I would just encourage you to notice what lights them up and steer things in that direction.
That's such good advice. And meditation can look so different for so many people, can't it? Because I know for me, meditation is just anything which brings me into that present moment, but that can look really different each day. So sometimes for me, it can be like a walking meditation. So walking in nature and just trying to listen to the sounds, look at what I can see, what can I smell. Other times it's in a child's pose, like a yoga pose, and I'm just breathing. Other times I will sit and I'll place my hands on my heart and I'll maybe visualize colors or chakras, and sometimes I'll do visualization. So I wish that I did have a more structured practice. I don't, but I have more of an intuitive practice. So I sort of call on what meditation I need at certain points in the day. Do you have like a favorite go-to? Is it usually breath work that you would sort of go to?
Breathwork is my favorite, for sure. It's just a great way to get out of my head and into my body and clear a lot of stuck, stagnant energy and raise my vibration. So breathwork, I'm a huge fan of breathwork, but I also just kind of follow my intuition, whatever it is that would be most beneficial to me in that moment. And that's why I love sharing meditation with people, because I try to give them a toolkit that they're empowered to use on their own. In that way, they can, when you repeat certain meditations a number of times, then you're able to do it without any guidance eventually. And so the idea behind my teaching is always for people to be empowered to find the paths that work best for them and have a toolkit so that when life gets chaotic or difficult or challenging, they know how to bring themselves back to center.
Definitely. And what would you say for someone that's at the point of complete burnout, complete overwhelm, maybe got a chronic illness or an autoimmune disease, or maybe just is lacking motivation, but knows deep inside them actually meditation would really help and really be healing, but perhaps doesn't feel like they can start for whatever reason? What's your advice there?
Well, there's no wrong way to meditate. We meditate to get good at life. And so oftentimes people feel like they can't meditate because they can't stop thinking. And just like when we sit to meditate, our heart keeps beating and our lungs keep breathing, our mind keeps thinking. That's what minds do. We have 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. So you're actually not trying to stop your thoughts, but you're trying to notice your thoughts. and bring your awareness back to your breath or whatever the object of meditation is. And each time you notice your thoughts, you're strengthening your ability to notice your thoughts. So just like we go to the gym and we lift weights and we are strengthening our bicep, when we sit down to meditate and we notice our mind has wandered and we bring our attention back to our breath or our mantra or the sound, we're strengthening our ability to notice our thoughts. And that's so empowering because our thoughts create our feelings and our actions and our outcomes in life. And while we can't control our circumstances or situations or other people, we can control our thoughts. And so as we learn to notice negative thoughts and self-critical thoughts and judgmental thoughts and choose different thoughts, we really elevate our wellness and happiness.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot now and ask you if you could maybe just lead us through a 1 minute easy beginner's meditation. Now, lots of people will be walking or driving whilst they're listening to this podcast, or they may be watching it on YouTube. So they may be able to close their eyes, but perhaps is there something that you could just lead us through? So someone that's quite new to meditation, or maybe someone that's done it a while ago and just needs to reignite that passion for it. Maybe you can give a tiny little taster.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, why don't you begin by closing your eyes if you're somewhere that you can close your eyes. And if not, go ahead and keep them open. And take a nice, long, deep breath in through your nose, breathing all the way through your heart, down into your belly. Exhaling out through your mouth, letting all your air out as you draw your navel towards your spine. And imagine a shower or waterfall pouring water over your head. Take a deep breath, and on your next exhale, sigh it all out and relax your body. Continue taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths in and out as you feel this water pouring down on your head, cleansing your energy and washing away any stuck, stagnant, low vibration energy. Any energy that's not yours, letting go of any heaviness, tension, just fully releasing and welcoming lightness. Feel the cleansing sensation as the water pours over your head and down the body and carries with it any energy that's ready to be released. Letting go of any fear, doubt, worry, lack, or stress as the water cleanses your body, cleanses your mind, and cleanses your spirit. Notice that you're beginning to feel more calm and relaxed, lighter as everything washes away, and you return to your true nature, your true energy. Thank the water for cleansing you and thank yourself for shifting your energy. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful meditation. And it just shows the power of just 1 to 2 minutes and how it can shift our mind, our body, our central nervous system, our soul, everything. We really just come back into the center. Something which I have always found with meditation, and I've been doing meditation in some form of or the other for about 20 years now, but I still am at the point where my mind wanders. So even as I was doing that, I was just coming in and out of what you were saying. So I was thinking about something to do with my youngest daughter, and then I was thinking about meeting my friend tomorrow for a walk. Like all of these thoughts were coming, and I try and remind myself, just let them pass by like clouds in the sky, just be aware of them. But we beat ourselves up for that, I
We
find.
do. And I think for me, what made the difference was someone told me, notice your thoughts with curiosity and fascination.
Yeah.
And it helped so much because I used to beat myself up. I used to go, "Oh, you're doing it wrong," or you shouldn't be thinking that," or get frustrated. But it's all about just noticing, right?
Yeah.
It's noticing that we're actually not our thoughts and we're not our body, and noticing it with curiosity, like, "Oh, wow, I have a lot on my mind today. My mind is busy today." It's actually just noticing what's going on with you, because it's our senses and our breath connect our outer world with our inner world. And so just oftentimes we'll go the whole day without even noticing how we're breathing or
Yeah.
what we're thinking or anything. So it's something to be celebrated each time you
Yeah.
notice that your thoughts are wandering. It's like, okay, I'm noticing them. You're present with yourself in that moment. And anytime you bring yourself back to your breath, you're bringing yourself back to presence. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think something which has also really helped me with meditation is starting to understand a bit about my own personality and what what helps me and what, for example, I'm definitely someone that I do really well if I'm accountable to somebody. So for example, when I did my Reiki 1 and 2 training, we had to do self Reiki on ourselves every day. So before I got out of bed every day, and I think this probably was at least for a few months, I was definitely in the habit for at least 3 months. Maybe I did it for 6 months, but before I got out of bed, I would do Reiki on myself and I would go through all the chakras and I would do a lovely Reiki healing meditation. Now, as soon as I'd sort of signed off that I'd done that, whatever it was, I can't remember now, but whatever it was that my teacher had asked me to do, I got out of that habit and I realized that actually, if I am accountable to someone for it, then I will actually do it in a more structured way. So that's something, and it's actually reignited that talking to you now and thinking about it. So for me, I'm realizing actually, if I'm accountable, maybe if I have like a meditation buddy and we check in on each other, or I commit to like a certain program, like I know your program, you can commit to a certain amount of time, like that would really help me. And I guess I'm saying this to my listeners really to start to understand what motivates you, because that will be very different for everybody. Like some people will definitely not thrive when they're almost getting told to do something by somebody else. It'll be the complete opposite. They actually want to have complete freedom in how they're going to do it. Or some people might say, actually, morning is the time where I know I'm going to do it, it's going to become a habit. Or someone else might say, actually, it's just before I go to bed that's the right time for me. So I guess what I'm offering to my listeners and also sort of asking your opinion on is getting to know what suits us and then adapting our meditation to that.
I think I'm a firm believer in that. And if you're uncomfortable sitting up, you can lay down,
Yeah.
find what works so that you can do it and you can show up for yourself. Because when you show up for yourself in this way, as a regular daily practice, your brain is moldable, you're rewiring your neural pathways, you're positively impacting your not just your mental health, but your emotional, spiritual, and physical health as well. And it's all tied together. We're under so much stress, and stress causes inflammation, and inflammation causes all the diseases and chronic illnesses and stuff. So it's really beneficial to give yourself this gift. I feel that meditation is more effective than most medications. It's that powerful, and I've seen it help other people's lives transform in so many positive ways, from chronic illnesses to broken hearts, to pain in the body, all going away because um, we're not meant to be under the amount of stress that most people are today.
So true. And if you were to leave us with just one top tip for inner peace, what would that be?
I will have to say the elongated out breath.
Mm.
The quickest way to soothe our nervous system is to take a nice, long, deep breath all the way into our belly and exhale all the way out, an elongated exhale, letting all the air out. And so that might look like breathing in for the count of 4 or 5, and breathing out for the count of 6 or 7, and letting all your air out. And when we do this, we're sending signals to our nervous system that we're in a safe space and it's okay to rest and relax. So if you think about it, if you're about to be in an accident, or if your boss calls and says, I need to talk to you this afternoon, you might kind of hold your breath, and it's like a short, shallow breathing and a lot of tension and constriction in the body. And so when we elongate our out breaths, our nervous system can relax because it knows we would never do this if we were in danger. And that's something we can do on our own. The breath is free, it's always available to us. And you can just, cue yourself to relax, whether you're in line at the grocery store or in a traffic jam or having a difficult conversation with someone. You can do this breathing to yourself, and it's really, really helpful. And I wish that they taught that to everyone in preschool.
Absolutely. And they are more and more now, which is wonderful to see, actually, which is
Yeah.
great. Kelly, thank you so much. Would you be able to share with everyone where people can reach out to you, where they can hear more about your meditation programs, and where they can ask you any questions?
Yeah, thank you. It was so nice to connect with you today. And anyone who's interested in exploring meditation more can go to my website, which is anchormeditation.com, ANCHORMEDITATION. And that's also my Instagram and LinkedIn handle. So I do a lot of work with individuals, coaching them privately, and also offer an online 6-week course that's available. And on my website, you can opt in to receive a 1-week meditation Kickstarter where the first day we talk about intentions, and then the remaining 6 days, I do just a brief lesson and practice on the 6 pillars of modern meditation, which are relaxation, compassion, emotional awareness, brain training, open-heartedness, and manifestation.
Amazing. I love that. And just as a side note, I love your background as well. So I know that the podcast listeners won't be able to see this, but anyone watching it on YouTube will be able to see. And I love how you've got all the neutrals, and even your manicure is matching as well. Beautiful.
Thank you. It's all intentional. My
Gorgeous. I
little
know.
sanctuary.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kelly.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It was so
Thank
nice
you.
talking to you.